Hey everybody, I'm so glad that you've joined me today for episode 4 of Beyond the Page. This is the series where I talk about other stories and entertainment that I enjoy outside of books. So we're going to get right down to it because we've got 10 games to talk about that are my favorite board games of all time. Currently. It could change, but for right now, these are my top 10 favorite games. So I'm going to put my eyes on here because I have to make sure, oh, there goes the hat. Have to make sure I have my numbers correct and say them in order. So we're going to start off today with number 10, and that would be Flux. Now, this is Doctor Who Flux, but there are a whole bunch of different Flux games. I'm on a mission to collect them all at some point. But yeah, there's Fantasy Flux, there's Marvel Flux, there's Cthulhu Flux, there's just regular old Flux that was the first Flux ever available. And what's cool about it is so simple to get into. You start with a rule card, and you expand on that over time. So if you get a card that changes the rules, you can lay that card down, and all of a sudden you might be drawing 3 cards at the beginning of every turn instead of just 1. But the simple rules are you draw 1 card, play 1 card, and then the chaos goes from there. And there are different cards that you might get that prevent you from winning the game if you end the game with that card. And Flux is so much fun, and it's a great beginner game, and you can easily play around in less than 30 minutes. I have seen it go longer, right? But average is less than 30 minutes. Such a fun game. I love Flux. If you're a big Doctor Who fan like I am, you'll probably want to get Doctor Who Flux because it is so much fun. All right, so that is number 10. Number 9 is, and I'm going to have to grab it here. It's a little dusty. You can tell I haven't played it maybe in a while, but that is Yahtzee. And this is a classic game. I think probably everybody has played Yahtzee, but it's one of my absolute favorites. I played it a lot as a kid. I played it a lot with my kids. And it's just a simple game. You're rolling dice to try and fill in the blanks on every section of the player card. So you're trying to get 4 of a kind or 3 of a kind. If you played Yahtzee, you know what I'm talking about. And it's just a fun dice rolling game. And it's one of the absolute best out there. So I highly recommend Yahtzee if you have not. Now, when I was a kid, they had a version that was triple Yahtzee. You had 3 chances to fill up your scoreboard in the different areas of the scoreboard. But eventually that went away, and I kind of see why, because it's kind of redundant. You could just choose to play it that way with regular Yahtzee. So it's more of an enhancement to the base game than it is a game all its own. Because it didn't really have any fresh rules that I remember. So, yeah, Yahtzee is a fantastic game. I highly recommend it. So that is number 9. Coming in at number 8 is Parcheesi. This takes me way back. Way back, because I can remember as young as like 7 or 8 going to my grandma's house and playing Parcheesi with her. Every time I got to see my grandma, we always loved to play games together, and she didn't live very far from us, so she would come over for family dinners and things like that, and we would often play games then as well. She would often stay over on Christmas Eve to wake up with us on Christmas morning, and we would play games and stuff then. So my grandma loved board games, and Parcheesi was one of her favorites. It's one of my favorites as well. And I just have such a blast. And this is just Another really simple game. You're just moving your pieces around on the board. You have to roll a 5 in order to get out of your home space, and then you move around the board. And if somebody lands on your space, you get sent home and you have to start the process all over again. So a game of Parcheesi can take a while. I think it could take maybe up to an hour sometimes, just depending on how many times you get sent home. But eventually someone wins by getting all of their pieces in the end goal area, and then the game is over. But it's great. It's great fun, and just a really fun game to have conversations over while you're playing it. That's one of the things I love about board games, is that you can interact with the people at the table while you're playing the game. A lot of fun. So Parcheesi is number 8. And I'm going to go ahead and set that right over there. Coming in at number 7, we have a newer game that I got when I was an adult. We got it originally to play with the kids, and that is Forbidden Island. Forbidden Island is a cooperative game, and I love cooperative games as well. It's so much fun to work together as a team to try and complete the mission. In this case, there are priceless artifacts on the island that you have to uncover, and each person has their own special abilities that help the rest of the team out and to get off the island safely before it sinks. Throughout the game, tiles get flooded. And if the entire island floods and goes down, the game is over. So you have to get all the artifacts into the helicopter and get the helicopter off the island before it sinks, or you all lose. It's such a fun game. Now, there are other games in the series as well. There's Forbidden Desert, which, guys, it's a real pain in the butt. Forbidden Desert is such a pain. We've never beat it. We beat the island several times, but never beat the desert. There's another one called Forbidden Sky, and then the most recent one is Forbidden Jungle. And what's kind of cool is each one is a sequel to the other one. So you've got the island, and then once you've got off the island, you've landed in the desert, and then once you escape the desert, you're moving to the space platform. So that's Forbidden Sky. And then on the space platform, once you escape, you're taking off to another planet, and that's where the Forbidden Jungle is. The jungle is on an alien planet, or alien to you anyway, right? So it's a lot of fun. It's a really cool and unique idea, and I highly recommend the series. Just be aware, if you have to be up for a challenge when it comes to Forbidden Desert. That one is a pain, as I said. And we will move on from there. And we are moving on to number 6. Now, this one I do not own. My partner owns this one. And that is Wormspan. You may be familiar with Wingspan. And you may be familiar with Wormspan as well. But I played Wingspan back in the day, and it was fine. It's a bird game. You're collecting different birds and, hatching eggs and stuff throughout the game. It's cool. But Wormspan is what that game was designed to be, in my personal opinion. And that is the pinnacle of that type of game. And Wormspan, if you guessed it, involves dragons. So instead of birds, you've got dragons, and you've got dragon eggs that you can hatch, and you've got caves that you've got to explore. I absolutely love Wormspan. It's one of my favorite games. I played it for the first time a couple of months ago, and I was just blown away. And if you want to follow Stonemaier Games on YouTube and check out some of their other games as well, they have a whole catalog of really amazing games. And so, Jamie Stegmaier has a channel on YouTube, and I'll leave that in the description below for you to go check out. But yeah, Stonemaier Games has some really unique games on offer, and I think you'll really find a lot to keep you busy if you are a board gamer. So there is that. Okay, so we are moving on to another one that I did not bring to the table with me here because it's a ginormous box, and that is Scrabble. And we bought the fancy family edition back in the day, the deluxe edition, and it has the little raised bumps on the squares so that your tiles don't scatter all over the board while you're playing. That's essential, guys. That is the only edition to own, in my personal opinion. But I love Scrabble. It's a classic family game of spelling words, getting points, getting double word scores, triple word scores, making the other players mad at you because you happen to figure out a way to use the triple word score. It's a lot of fun, one of my absolute favorites, and that comes in at number 5. Yes, number 5. All right, so number 4 is a game that I talked about in a previous video, the last edition of my Beyond the Page, and that, guys, is Cobble and Fog by Restoration Games. This is an arena battle game, but with a board. So it's a board arena battle game. And each player, up to 4 players, are playing either Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson as a pair, or you can play the Invisible Man, Count Dracula, or Jekyll and Hyde. And every character has their different abilities, and some characters have ranged abilities where you can fire from a distance, and others you have to be right up close and adjacent to the other players in the game. And you're just moving across this little board, and if you get close to the other players, you can do battle. You have a deck of cards that you can use with different effects in the game. It's a lot of fun, and I had a hard time putting this at number 4, but there's others that I just enjoy more. So Cobble and Fog is definitely on my top 10 list, and I had said in that video that it would be on my top 10 list, so I had to figure out where I was going from there. All right, I'm going to put that on that rather precarious stack. We'll see if that stays. I might not want to put these other games there. All right, so we are moving on to number 3, and that, guys, is Unspeakable Words. Now, this is the deluxe edition. I first saw this years ago on Tabletop with Will Wheaton. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that show on YouTube, but it was part of the Geek and Sundry offering on YouTube. And there were 4 seasons, I think. The 4th season kind of slipped off from the format of the previous seasons, but it was still really, really good. I love Will Wheaton. If you're a Star Trek fan, you know who Will Wheaton is, and he's done a variety of different entertainment things, and Tabletop was one of them. So I highly recommend Tabletop, and that's where I first saw Unspeakable Words. It was the original version before they released this deluxe edition. And the object of the game is to make words. It's very similar to Scrabble, but instead of playing with tiles, you are playing with a hand of cards. And you have to spell words with the cards in your hand, and each different card has a different point value to it. Some don't give you any points, and some give you maybe 3 or 4 points. And then at the end of your turn, here's the trick. At the end of your turn, you have to roll a die. And if you score the amount of your cards or higher, you're safe. If you score lower than the value of the word you just played, you lose some sanity. And you have 5 levels of sanity. Each level of sanity is signified by this, and I'm going to get it out and show you. Because this is definitely something you want to see. Each level of sanity is evidenced by these little Cthulhu pawns. Aren't they adorable? And, you know, there's different colored ones I dropped one. Every player gets to choose their colors, and there's 5 of each color. So throughout the game, if you roll less than the amount that you played, it's called a sanity check, then you lose a Cthulhu pawn. If you get down to 1 Cthulhu pawn left, you are insane. And you can make up any word you want. Any word. It doesn't have to be understandable. It can be gibberish. But you get to make it up. And then you get to tell everybody else what it means. So not only are you making up a stupid word, but you're showing everybody else how crazy you are by defining it for them. So it's a lot of fun. It's a really simple game, but I was instantly hooked. I'm like, that is a game I have to own. That's a game I have to play. So lots of fun. I hope you guys will check it out. I'll have to pick up that Cthulhu pawn that I dropped later. We're moving on to number 2, and that is Azul. Now, in this box, I also have the Crystal Mosaic expansion, which came with some nice board overlays. But the basic point of this game is to make a mosaic. You get to make a mosaic on this board, and it is just so much fun. Absolutely so much fun. You're just collecting tiles from a little assortment of tiles that are on the play area, and you're placing them in different areas on the board. And the way the game ends is for one person to complete 1 horizontal row of tiles. And then you start the scoring process, and whoever has the most points wins. So much fun. I absolutely love it. The tiles are really colorful, and you lay them on these little coaster type areas. It's just so much fun. In fact, I played it with my partner today. It was just so much fun. We had a blast, and it was her first time playing it, so I got to introduce it to her. And I had so much fun with that. And I've played that game over and over. My kids love it. Everybody I've played it with loves it. And it's such a cozy, relaxing game. There are some elements of strategy to it, but it's not stressful strategy, if you get my meaning. All right, guys. So what is the number 1 game in my game library that is my absolute favorite game of all time? Nothing has dethroned it yet. Some have come close. I was seriously considering if Cobble and Fog was going to take that first spot, but it didn't. And that, guys, is Splendor. Splendor is my favorite board game of all time currently. Now, there are different versions of Splendor as well. There's a Marvel Splendor. There's a Splendor Duel, which is a 2-person game. You can play just solo as well, I believe, with the Splendor Duel. But I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me. But Splendor is just an amazing game, and it's a card drafting game. You're drawing different colored cards. At the start of the game, you have to buy them with these little colored gems. I've got to be careful because I have an insert in here. You just you're drafting them and buying them with these little colored gems, and then all the cards you buy have a gem on them as well, a gem color. So as you collect enough cards, you no longer have to get the little jewels here. You no longer have to use the physical jewel tokens as much because you can use the gem on the cards you currently have to collect more cards with as well. So it's a lot of fun. There's different expansions. I have the Cities of Splendor expansion in here, which I have not played yet. I should probably try that. But it's a 4-player game. It's so much fun. And the cool thing is that once you collect a certain amount of cards, you can invite a noble to your kingdom. And the nobles have their own special tiles as well, and if you have enough of each card in your play area, you can have a noble visit you, and they have points as well. Some of the cards in your card arsenal have points on them, and then if you get a noble, they will add points to your total, and the object of the game is to get to 16 points. You can choose to go longer, but the base is 16. Whoever gets 16 points wins the game, and then you can play one more round and see who might come in second place. But it's a lot of fun, guys. I have a blast playing Splendor every time I play it. I love Marvel Splendor as well. I do have that one. I have not gotten Splendor Duel. I kind of didn't see the point, but I might get it at some point because I'm a completionist on the series. I love this series so much. And this is the original edition. This is the first edition. There is a newer edition out now that has a different look to it, but it's the same game. I love it. I absolutely love Splendor. It is the best game, in my opinion. So that's all I've got to show you here, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Did you enjoy this adventure across my board game shelf? I hope you did, and I hope that you will play some of these games if you haven't already. Tell me in the comments what some of your favorite games are to play. And until next time, make sure you read more books, as I always say, but play more games too. If you like to play board games, play more games. And I'll see you in the next video. Oh, and if you want to see more of my content, there is an end screen here.